Spectrum of Us podcast.
Chaos and comedy, where we explore life on the spectrum.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Jennifer.
In each episode, we dive deep into life surrounding neurodivergence, exploring the complex and often comical dynamics between society, family, education, and more.
Through building understanding, we hope to build a community. So like and subscribe for more chaos and comedy as we explore life behind the scenes of neurodiversity.
All right. Well, this is part 2 to our e-bike conversation. And I think we left off.
Give them a path.
And
we said that we need to talk about, I said, part 1, we'll talk about
I know,
who's in this community.
Yeah, who's in this
and
community
why.
And why. Now,
and so just, to kind of recap that, what we're finding is that this community is a strong community of neurodivergent humans. And there's a lot of reasons for that. It's a place for them to connect. It regulates. It makes them feel calm, normal, happy. A lot of things that they don't get to just get up and feel that way.
We've had at our house at any one time anywhere from 6 to 12 kids on e-bikes.
Mm-hmm.
And 80 to 90% of those are either homeschooled
mm-hmm. or
one of our neurodivergent kids with an invisible disability.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. It's I wouldn't even say 80 to 90. I'm like every single one of them, which is what tripped me out in the beginning because I just thought it was something my kid,
No, when I listen,
but then the kids would come over, right, and I'm sitting here because I always get nervous when Jack makes friends because he's not exactly always, the easiest friend.
Mm-hmm.
He's really quick to make a friend, and everybody loves him out the gate. But maintaining a friendship is his nemesis. That's his kryptonite. He struggles really hard to maintain the friendship, and that's a typical situation with kids like him. But it's not typical for kids not like him. And so he'll make friends with anybody. And I'm not used to getting the opportunity to have other kids over who are kind of like him.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times he's made friends at school or through, typical avenues. So it's been rare that he's had a friend like him. And I mean, none of them are exactly the same, but when I say like him, I mean, from a family who's dealing with similar struggles
yes.
or issues or whatever. And the first time I realized he's not unique in this group is when we went to Mega Ride. And we went to Mega Ride in Houston. Shout out to Gotti. Should I do that?
Yeah, sure.
Shout out to Mega Ride.
No,
for real. I mean,
it was
I was so freaked out. Jack had asked to go to this thing, and it was
a pretty major event.
We were like, "What is this thing?" And I don't remember why you couldn't go, but I was gonna have to take him, and I was like, "I guess we'll check it out." And I'm, his older brother goes to ride out, big rides across the country on a motorcycle, right. And he's a grown-up. So I'm like, oh boy, this is, going another level. I managed to keep my other kids out of the two-wheel motor life until they were adults. And, that's not been my experience with this feral one. So, I'm already like, oh my God, what are we doing? And now he wants to go on this Mega Ride. And then he says, his friend's going. And we're like, okay, I guess we should go check it out. Then I'm checking with Bubba, you know, and I'm like, hey, dude, what do you know anything about these rides?
Yeah.
You know, like, talk to me about these, you know, because it was a possibility he might have known about it, which turned out, yeah, he's fully aware of what they are and everything. And a good friend of his, Sloppy Stunts, shout out to him too. He and Caddy and all the men, adult men in these, and adult women, it's just a lot more adult men in these rides, they are such incredible mentors. But I didn't know any of this going into it, right? So Bubba says, yeah, Sloppy, he's going, I think. And I was like, wait a minute, Sloppy Stunts? Sloppy, if you go follow him and you see his motorcycle riding, you're like, insane.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Bubba is Tunes, Stunt Tunes LLC, that's our son. He is incredibly talented, has this athletic ability, agility that is insane, right?
Yes.
Sloppy is wild to watch, which he's got a group called Wild Riders. Yeah, you know, and it's like when you see him ride, you're like, so it's just wild to watch him. And he's such a motivational, his story is incredible. You know, he's got such a great narrative, and it was crazy because he's like, yeah, Sloppy will be there, which wasn't necessarily, calming to this mama.
Yeah, reassuring. Yeah.
Because I didn't know Sloppy's whole story. I only knew the story before Sloppy came around. So I only knew Sloppy when he was drugging, drinking, crazy, you know, all the sex, drugs, and rock and roll part of motorcycles that people don't like, right? And so I only knew that side. So I'm like, wait a minute, he's going to the E-Ride? Oh, great. What am I bringing my 12-year-old to? You know, but like, but okay. And then Bubba's like, no, Mom, he's not like that. He's like, he had a really bad accident, and he really, everything kind of flipped for him, and he's like super cool. And I was like, okay, yeah. And he was like, yeah, no, Jack's gonna be fine, Mom. He'll be fine, I promise. Take him, it'll be good. And I was like, can't you just come with us? You know, like, I mean, that'd be great. And then I'll know, like, you can go on the ride. I'll get an e-bike that's good for you to ride. And then, you know, I'll know that somebody's out there in case he crashes or whatever. I'm just freaking out about it. And, you know, he had another ride that he was getting ready for. So he was like, I really can't. And so I was like, okay, here I go. He goes, I'll tell Sloppy to look out for him, though. And I'm like, okay, thanks. And I'm just thinking, yeah, he's famous. He's not gonna, you know, he's gonna be like, cool, sure, dude, you know, and then it'll be like a cursory. And then, you know, like I'm on my own out here. I've never ridden an e-bike. All I've done is I've followed Bubba's ride outs, you know, so I know how to follow a motorcycle ride. I know how to block for that. But I don't know anything about this e-bike community. I know everything about the motorcycle community. I know nothing about this community. So I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? And I am convinced on that very long drive that I am entering my child into a life of juvenile delinquency, and I'm contributing to the delinquency. I'm just like...
Is that what you thought?
Yeah.
And you went full speed ahead?
Yeah, because, hello, I am in the community. So... as much as like the logic side of me is like, what are you doing? The other side is like, I don't have a good argument against it yet. Loop's not closed. There's a door open. Which
is super important.
Yeah.
Because when dealing with our neurodivergent child, it's not, you can't just say no. You have to show him no.
Right. Like I said in the first part of this. Yeah. If there's a door open, if there's a loop that's not closed all the way, then we're still stuck trying to figure it out, you know? So I'm trying to figure this world out. And, you know, because I know my kid's in it, and I can either figure it out with him, or he's going to go experience it without me knowing what he's really getting into.
Yeah.
And I've never been one to just bury my head in the sand and just pretend like ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
I will head dive into a concrete pool trying to figure out something before I will say, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll just put my head in the sand over here and just pretend like it's not a problem. I can't. It's literally like I cannot. So we go down to this mega ride. We're on our way to it. And that's when he hits me with, so I know you're not going to like this, but it's okay, Mom. It's cool. Okay. What? So, can we see if we can find my friend there? Who's your friend? Which friend? One of your friends is here? Well, so you don't know him, but I do. What do you mean I don't know him? Well, I met him online. Great. So you met someone online. Mom, just hear me out. He's totally normal. I'm sure he's made you think he is, honey. He's like, he's totally normal. He lives like an hour away from us. His family's here, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, we're going to die. This is where my son gets child trafficked. Now let's just focus on the fact that, see, I wasn't worried. I mean, I'm like, what world are we going to? But I'm driving to Houston to go on a mega ride. But where does my fear kick in? You just said you met someone online. Because I legitimately feel like that is a way scarier situation.
Because it is. But
yeah,
which is a whole nother episode, but keep going.
Yeah. But he's like, yeah, I met him, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, this is where we die. You know, it's me and you. This is some dude who's sitting in his parents' basement, who is, you know, in a child trafficking ring. And I look at him and I go, dude, I told you about this. I told you how they don't need candy and puppies anymore to lure kids. They actually use other kids to lure kids. Like, dude, he could be another kid, but he could be like, what? And he's like, I know, I told you wouldn't like it, but I promise you it's fine. And I'm just like, this is where we die. This is where it happens. And my husband's not here. And I can't even call him and tell him, because he's going to be like, turn that fucking truck around. Absolutely not. This is not happening. Like, you would have freaked out more than I was, you know?
Well, I wouldn't have freaked out. What I would have been is cautious.
You'd have been like this. I need their name. I need this. I need that. And I knew I didn't have any of that. Nor did he.
Yes. And so you would have had to turn the car around.
Right. And so, but what do? Oh, I just keep driving? You know, here I go. So I'm like, well, okay, so we're going into a public place. It'll be fine. I'll watch him, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Good news. Turned out just fine. Totally normal kid.
It was a kid.
Totally. Well, I mean, normal for us, right?
Parents, yeah.
Totally great family. Legitimate humans. The story was legitimate. Everything's fine. And Sloppy pulls up. And I said, Jack, that's Sloppy over there. Bubba said he told him that you were here. And so just go on over and say, hey, I'm Toon's little brother. Just want to say hey. And then leave him alone. You know how Bubba is about, you know, like, don't make a big deal, you know, give him space. So, you know, just be cool. He was kind of nervous. He kind of like didn't even want to, because he didn't want to like bother him. But also, it's Sloppy Stunts. You know? So it's like, I gotta go meet him, right? So I'm sitting over at the truck and watching, and I watch over, and I have it on film. I filmed him going over there. Sloppy gets like out, and he like gives him a hug, and you know, he starts talking to all the kids, and he's just so cool and welcoming and genuine. And that's another cool thing in our community. We know when you're full of shit. We don't have to meet you. I can watch from a distance. I can know whether you're a poser or whether you are a genuine human. Just whatever goes on in my brain when I'm observing people or interacting with people, I can immediately tell who you are. And all of us are like that. Like we can tell whether you're genuine or not. And I say that all the time. You can't fake that you like us. So don't do that with my kids at school. You know, like there's no amount of you faking that you like them. You either genuinely think they are the coolest kids or you don't. Yeah. And if you don't, you can't work with that kid because they will know it. There's no explanation as to why they know it. They just know it. So I see him get out and I'm just like, this dude's a real one. Okay, cool. Now that was above and beyond what I would have expected as far as a reception, you know, like acknowledgement, knowing who Jack was, whatever, right? Jack comes back. He's got some swag. He's got a Wild Rider shirt. Nobody else is wearing a Wild Rider shirt. You only get to wear a Wild Rider shirt at the beginning of the ride if you're a Wild Rider. So I'm like, I don't know if Jack knows that, but he just got welcomed into a little family with open arms, and he gets to ride this Wild Rider shirt from day one. Whoa. You know, and I don't make a big deal about it to Jack because I don't want him to get, you know, overwhelmed or feel pressure or anything. But I'm just like, that was cool. That was really cool, Sloppy. So, fast forward to the ride, and Jack he broke the ice. He was the first one that crashed on the ride.
He broke the ice?
Yeah.
That's a wonderful way of putting it.
Yeah. I was like, of course. So it's funny because I immediately lost the ride. Then I found the ride. As I find the ride, I realized the reason I found the ride was because there was a crash. And so I'm pulling up, see how I can help, right? And I pull up and I look over. I'm like, oh damn, that's my kid. All right. I mean, he was fine. You know what I mean? It wasn't a crash where you're like, ah, you know, it was just more like, what happened? So I was just like, hey, what you need? Now, because I've been on the bike rides, the motorcycle rides, we'd brought a backup bike for him that I had in the back of the truck. Cause I told him, I said, you know, just in case something happens and I know you're not going to want to stop riding. That's a real bummer. Yeah. So we'll bring the backup bike so that you can just swap them out. Boom, you're back in the ride. He's like, okay, cool. So didn't know we'd use that in the first 10 minutes of the ride. But so I pull up and I look over and I'm like, Sloppy and his dude, who's kind of like his assistant, he does e-bikes more and Sloppy did motorcycles more. And now they're kind of like a little team together. Sloppy and him are both there with Jack. And I'm like, hey, what'd you need? What's going on? And he's like, my handlebars broke. And I was like, damn, all right, well, put it in the truck and get your other bike out. Let's go. Get it, get back up with their ride. And he's like, oh yeah, okay. So he pulls it out. They pull it out. They all, take off. Well, the backup bike is a Zeus. It's a legal bike. It's also slower.
It's a slower legal bike. It's street legal.
It's street legal. And they got to catch up to the ride. So the rides don't go that fast. Because it's a pack, so they're really not going that fast as a group. But when you get away from the ride, you got to go kind of fast to go find them, right? So this Sloppy stays with Jack. And so this is what was making an impression to me in the moment was, oh my God, he didn't just welcome my kid. He has hundreds of thousands of followers. He's got 2 platforms. He's so incredibly talented. He has every reason to be at the front of the pack and making content and, just worrying about what he's doing. Yeah. And nobody would blame him for that. I wouldn't have thought a single thing about it. That's what he's there for. He's there to ride too. The fact that at the beginning of the ride, Jack crashes and he stops, is willing to lose track of the ride, get Jack on a new bike, stay with him, try to go find the ride. I was like, nobody does that. No. That's crazy. So, turned out, We couldn't find the ride fast enough on the Zeus. They could go fast enough, but he couldn't. So we threw the Zeus in the back of the truck again, put Jack in the truck. They found the ride. I found the ride. Then we had an opportunity where they stopped, and I was like, bail, get your bike out. Now you can go, because now he'll be able to keep up on the Zeus.
Right.
And then we stopped later. He fixed his bike and he got to go back on his Saran and, you know, be fine. But that experience was so crazy to me because it showed me how much they'll take care of each other too. And not just anybody, because later in the ride, at the end of the ride, there was a kid, the big ride day, the main ride day. There was a kid who crashed and he hurt himself pretty bad. And Saranster and Sloppy both stopped with that kid too. Nobody knew that kid. That kid was nobody special to anybody. So it wasn't even just because it was Jack, you know. This was actually the first time, and the only reason I know this is because I stopped again. Because what I do is follow the ride to pick up anybody who gets hurt, pick up any broken bike, you know. But if your bike just dies, you're on your own. Because you could see that your battery's dying. You're an idiot if you didn't bail. You know, you're going to have to learn some hard lessons. But if your bike's broke, if you're hurt, you know, I'm following behind in a big ass truck where you can throw the bike in the back. I can take somebody off to the side, get a hold of a parent, or if you're an adult, you know, get you to an emergency room. Yeah. You know, because it's not a 911 call, but it's also you need to go be seen. You broke an arm, whatever. Yeah. So, kid wrecked right into it, and this kid, you know, I stop, I get him. I'm on Saranster's video, picking him up because he thought I was a Karen, but I was a cool Karen. So then when I watched the video, I was like, damn, I did look like a Karen pulling up there. I don't blame him for thinking I was Karen, but I'm cool Karen. I'm not Karen. Can I be like a Katie? No, I don't like Katie either.
Let's just move on.
Okay. Anyway, kid gets in the car, you know, and he's just crushed. He's just devastated. You know, he's probably broke his arm, and he's not devastated because he broke his arm. He's devastated because this is the first time he's ever ridden in a ride. He didn't ride the pre-ride days. This was his first time riding out in a pack. He was so excited. He knew he should have never done this. Oh my gosh, what was he thinking? It happened so fast. I had no idea, blah, 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 you know, and it was more because he didn't barely even get to ride. Yeah. And he's so mad, you know, that it happened that fast and that he's out of the ride already. But what, again, impressed me was the adult riders stopping for these kids. Yeah. You know, like Saranster and Sloppy, they don't need to do anything but make content. Right. That's what they do. Yeah, I mean, that's their job and that's their livelihood. It's also what they love doing. That's cool. But, you know, they could have let anybody take care of it. But they took care of this kid. Yeah. They don't know this kid. He's not Toons' little brother. He's not some kid. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Wow. So I think what people need to understand is that this community, just as defiant as they can be when you're not closing those loops and you're not giving them reasons that make sense, that are just for why they can't, they are equally just when it comes to policing themselves. So here's the key. Here's the path. Just like with skateboarding, we realized we weren't going to get them to stop. Yeah. They were just going to, they were becoming a bigger public nuisance. And the more you tried to regulate them, the bigger public nuisance. So what do we see going on right now with the bikes? Right now, what we see going on with the bikes, depending on the community you're in, You're seeing complaints anywhere from, just being a traffic nuisance, scaring people in and out, darting in and out, hitting somebody while they're on their bike and hurting them or killing them. And you're seeing they're stopping at gas stations and looting them, or they're going into Targets and robbing the Targets, or not robbing,
running up and breaking
shoplifting
property.
And you're seeing ding dong ditching. You're seeing pounding on doors. Bending things, vandalizing, malicious mischief kind of stuff happening, right? And so people are like, these bikes. And this is what I'll say. It's not the bikes. It's the people on the bikes.
It's the rider, yeah.
But you're going to see more and more outlaw behavior the more you keep trying to do this, because now you've got two problems. You've got people who want to get into trouble, seeing that these are a great avenue to get in and out of a place quick. And you're seeing kids who just want to have a good time, who are getting angrier and angrier because they're being told there's no avenue. So they're just like, well, I'm breaking the law anyway. I may as well break the law bigger, right? So you're seeing this evolve into a bigger problem because you are trying to outlaw it. What you could do is look back in history to what we did with skateboards.
Mm-hmm.
What you could do is find an avenue where they can enjoy them that doesn't require us to move out to 10 acres out of the city that we love living in, at the schools that our kids like going to, in the communities we love, for every other reason.
Yes.
But now we're like, oh, we have to go buy a house out in the country just so our neurodivergent kid can exist, so that they're not in your purview. Okay, that's not going to work either, because first of all, not everybody can do that.
Well, and I'm glad you said that. That we have resources, but there are so many of these young people who are neurodivergent, who are getting into this. They don't have the resources. They scrambled, they got their money together, they cut grass, they collected bottles, they got the money together to get a nice little clapped out bike. Yeah. That's what they have.
Well, people are like, they're like, oh, they have these $5,000 bikes so they can afford this. No, I promise you, yes. There are kids who have the bikes that the parents could afford to get for them.
Bless you.
Of course, there's a small percentage of them are those kids. Most of the kids, it's like a kid like Jack, whose parents got him like 3 bikes before we found the right bike. And then they make a friend in the group. The other friend can't afford it. And so he goes, well, hey, I have this, like the friend will like go get something free, right? And then they'll start swapping out parts. Yeah. Oh, well, I don't need this on my bike. You need that on your bike. They start, like working on each other's bikes. They start, swapping out parts from each other's bikes. They find stuff free on, Marketplace. They're out there, finding whatever they can do, to scrape up some amount of money, because they're not going to ask their parents, because their parents can't afford it. And they wouldn't want to tax out their family that way. So they're like, doing whatever they can to put together a few bucks, and then getting whatever handouts they can to try to get this bike to work, right? And some of them have really souped up looking bikes.
Yep.
They have sweated every ounce of blood, sweat, and tears that they've got to make it. And they will not eat. If their parents give them $20 for going to the to get lunch all week, they would go without eating and stuff that $20 onto their bike. That's how obsessed they are.
I've watched kids come to our house. I've watched them sit down, talk about it. They pull together parts. Mm-hmm. They put stuff together. These kids don't have a lot. These bikes are important to them.
Yeah. And it's more fun to ride with friends. So it's not fun for me to just have the nicest bike in the group if that means you can't ride. So I'll swap things out with you, to make sure that we can all ride together. Like, just in general, think about the socialization that's occurring for kids who don't socialize well. Right there. Okay?
Right there.
Right there.
Right there.
I'm sorry. That is priceless to us parents who have neurodivergent kids who socially have not been really having that kind of experience. We haven't had that experience with them as parents. We don't get to have pool parties and birthday parties and all kinds of interactions.
I watched our son go from not feeling like he fit in, excuse me, to, because he's talented with his hands and he's a little more advanced than the other kids in his little group as far as putting his bike together and not just riding, but like changing parts out and fixing his brakes and changing the tire and getting an inner tube, and he can sit and do it, and they come up and they bring their stuff to him, and I watch him interact with them, and he said, okay, you want to need, as he's teaching them. Yeah. So the kid who didn't like school is now teaching a skill to his friends.
Right.
And so don't tell me it's a bad thing, because I'm watching his synopsis.
Well, I'm watching him because he won't go to school. We have massive school refusal, so we don't get the opportunity to socialize him in school. That's terrifying to me. It has been terrifying to me because we can't get him. He's a PDA kid, so pathological demand avoidance. If you don't know what that is, we can't get him to participate in sports or participate in group activities that aren't, it has to be his thing. So the fact that he has found any group activity to participate in is really, really difficult for me to say, yeah, well, you can participate in any group activity except that one.
No. And I'm telling you,
I'm trying to get him socialized.
Every activity to have moved here and from a place where, no one went outside, and when they did, they just played until they fell out, to a place where everyone can be outside, but everyone is doing something, and have him be confused because he's not used to that. So from scouts to football, baseball, soccer, we tried all of it.
Everything. We've tried everything to get him to do group activities in some way, shape, or form. He will not do any of them. He's tried. It's not like we didn't try or he didn't try. We haven't found one. Yeah. And now I finally get to see him practice socialization skills. He's really struggles at it. Yeah. Because we're 12 and we're finally getting to practice what we should have been able to practice at 5, 6, 7. But better late than never. And we get to do it not wondering who's on the other side of the computer.
Right. We get to be present.
We get to be out there with them.
Doing, so when we go out there, we're there with him to guide him through the mistake.
And not only, this is the best part. It's not just him.
It's the
when the other kids are pulling in and the other parents are coming through, because the other parents are just like us.
Yeah.
They come in and they have like the deer in the headlights, and they're like, where's my kid at? Who are you? What? Is this cool with you?
Yeah, my kid shared this location. Knock on the door. Is my child here?
I know. Is my child here? And it's like, yes. And for them to see like, this isn't some crack house.
Yeah.
Everything's cool. It's the most wholesome thing. Yeah. The kids are sitting in the garage.
Yeah.
It doesn't. There's no contraband situation going on. We're not drinkers.
No.
We're not druggers. Yeah. And it's even more shocking to them, when we're like, he's a retired police officer. We run special ed schools.
Yeah.
Promise you, your kids are safe here.
So when they spend the night and you go, oh, they're up all night playing video games. No. They're up all night
working on
the bikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talking, strategizing.
You know what I don't have to worry about?
Together.
You know what I don't have to worry about?
What's that?
The 2 a.m. sextortion.
Yeah.
That ends up with me waking up to my child dead because they committed suicide.
Yeah.
Because their naked pictures got out online, or they were threatened and they thought it was really going to happen and they were too scared because they're 12, 13, 14 and they are in a twisted mind fuck going on in an online situation, this is what I do have to worry about. I do have to worry about them sneaking out for sure. You know, physically out. I have security cameras. I have alarms. I have locations. I will deal with them sneaking out every day, all day, over worrying about the sextortion situations that's going to happen with them online overnight, because that's when it happens. Is at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Yeah. When you're deep asleep and we wake up to our child having committed suicide, and we went to bed just fine.
Yes.
You know, but you didn't have to worry about your kids sneaking out. You're right. You're right. And what I have to worry about is my kid sneaking out because he wants to go ride. He's not going to go, like, he's not one of the kids who's going to go vandalize or,
no, he wants,
you know, he just wants to go ride when there's no traffic and there's nobody out there.
Because he feels like, and this is what we created as adults. He feels like, because I've had this conversation with him, he feels like if he goes out on his bike during the day, he's going to get stopped by the police. They're going to impound his bike. And the stress from that makes him not want to be out there. In the evening, even though it's more dangerous because it's dark out, they're not looking for him or at him. So him and his friends get to go actually be kids and ride bikes. That's what we created.
Right.
That they feel more safe being out at night riding their bike. Because they're afraid
so
that during the day
you don't have to see them, so that all the Karens don't have to deal with it.
So they don't see me, so it's safer for me to ride, and I won't get my bike impounded because if they see me ride my bike just up and down the street, they see me. Oh, where they were doing wheelies. If you're concerned that a kid on an e-bike is doing a wheelie up and down the street and they might run into you, my question is why you're in the middle of the street. Because they're not on the sidewalks doing wheelies. They're doing the wheelie. We had a woman say, well, yell at him, our son.
She's walking.
She's
not
walking.
Even in a car.
She's not in a car. She's walking.
There's nobody else on the street.
If you get hit by a car, then I'm
responsible for that.
And I'm like,
how are you responsible?
No, you're not responsible. Because I was standing in the driveway watching him because he wanted to show me that he could do a wheelie. So I'm standing in watching him. So he had parental supervision. Right? And in his neighborhood by his house. And she's like, and I look and I'm like, what do you mean responsible? Are you putting in on this medical? Because if you are, I'm into that. Yeah. I'll take a check. But you're not. The reality is you're not. That's for me to do.
And for all of those people who want to say it's my taxes that pay for the fire department, whatever, newsflash for you. That tells me you've never had the ambulance come to your house, because when the ambulance comes to your house, when the fire department comes to your house for stuff like that, you get a bill for that.
Yes, you do.
And if you don't have insurance, then you pay for that, or insurance pays for that. I get them regularly because I have a kid who crashes, my older one. I get those bills no matter what community he's in. So your tax dollars are not going to pay for his medical expense.
But again,
don't pretend.
Ask yourself. Right? When you were 12 and 13 years old, were you outside? Because if you were, I challenge you to say that you would have been outside and comfortable under the conditions that you're setting forth for these children right now. You wouldn't. We were out. And you know what? We survived. And I have a real great confidence. I watched this neurodivergent 12-year-old. I'm watching him grow up. I'm watching him critically think his way through problems. So I'm watching him solving. I'm watching him be a leader with his friends. These are the lessons we want them to learn. So when he's 23, he feels confident enough to go out there in the world and be a neurodivergent person and feel like I can still survive. He can still
function.
He can still function.
Right. Because here's the thing. You and I both, nobody knew that what all this was, right? So we were socialized the hard way, you know. But that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
We have held down jobs. We have become independent humans. We have had families. Life has been harder for us than it might have been if we were typically functioning people. But we are independent. We are successful. We get to enjoy a lot of things that had we not been socialized
Yeah.
and been given the opportunity to learn, however hard it was for us, we might not be experiencing any of the things that we get to experience right now. And even as hard as it was for me to get from where I was to where I am, I would not want to go back and have been coddled. I would not want to go back and have been accommodated for. It would have been nice for people to have not been mean.
Yeah.
Right? It would have been nice for people to understand that we're all different.
Yes.
It would have been nice if somebody had explained to me why things were hard for me. But I would not want to go back and not have to learn what I've had to learn. It would have been nice to have a lot more support.
No,
but I do not want... I look at some of our kids, our own kids, who are probably just like us, but we have coddled them. We have sheltered them. We haven't forced them to socialize. We haven't told them what's going on with them.
Yeah.
They just get told that they're sweet and special and loving or whatever. And they are not as functioning as we were. They are struggling in ways that make me worried about whether they're going to be independent. They are struggling in ways that make me worry if they're going to be able to stand on their own 2 feet when we're not here. And I don't think that's a good thing.
No, well, no, it's a thing that I look back on in my life, which I do from time to time, and I go, with what knowledge that I have now, and I try just to apply it to like the things that has happened to me, and I go, I've always known I was different.
Yeah.
I wore
Same.
it. I wore it like a badge. I just didn't know what different meant.
My mom said, Jennifer, it's okay. You're just special. I literally did not hear that as a negative or a yikes. I heard that as, I'm special.
No.
I guess I am. And then had the audacity to ride my bike through the cul-de-sac with my shirt off because I didn't have anything different than the boys had at 7. And when the kids laughed, I said, you're just laughing because I'm special and you're not. I mean,
yes.
You know, like,
But
yeah, we wore it like a badge of honor. We didn't.
I will tell you that we have a opportunity. I think that if you're a parent out there and you have a neurodivergent kid and they're getting into it, I'll be present with them. I think if you hear about something in your community where people are wanting to discuss, get involved with the discussion.
Well, that's really like, here's the thing. The communities are running to the city councils and they're beating you to the table about outlawing this. The parents of these kids, the adults in this community, I know we don't like to deal with this kind of thing, okay? But we have to. We have to get to the table with them. We have to start speaking up about what the solution is that will work.
Yeah.
Their solution is designed for a neurotypical community.
Yeah.
And we really can't blame them for coming up with a typical solution for typical people because that's only where their brain goes.
Yeah.
Until we come to the table and we say, this is not going to work, but here's what could work for us. It's really not fair for us to get too mad at them for coming up with a typical solution because that's only where their brain goes. And so we have to bring our not typical brain to that table and explain to them what a not typical solution could look like that could work for not typical people. And I think what I see, like, I think, like, I just saw that a city around us is going to have a meeting about this, and they're a bigger city, and and all of a sudden it was like light bulb. I was like, we have skate parks.
Yeah.
In Texas, we have massive amounts of land that we don't even know what to do with, right? And there are lots of places in the country still that have massive amounts of land that aren't being used. There's more crowded places that this could be more challenging in, but there's still solutions. I 100% have every one of those in my brain for even those crowded places. But for here, right? Just starting with my own community, you know, like this town, Grapevine, is a huge community. They have a lot of family-friendly type of industry going into their community. Yes. They're very family-friendly. They're very activity community, oriented, and they have a lot of land. And so they're like, yeah, we're going to be coming to the table to talk about this e-bike situation, and people are saying, what do you think? And everything. And I'm like, I want to get to that meeting because I want to be able to say, you guys have skate parks. You have miles of trails that you have sanctioned and put in for people to walk on, for people to bicycle on. We have bike lanes that we've designated that cities pay for, that counties and states pay for. We have water parks.
Yeah.
Some of them are privately owned, but some of them are, through the park system, right? We have a giant skate park in Grand Prairie that I don't know if it's private or if it's a private public collaboration. That thing is ginormous. And, I'm like, what if you put in trails or you put in parks or you put in something where it was like, this is where you can ride these things? Because right now you're saying you can't ride on trails because the pedestrians and the bicyclists, they get to ride there and they get to walk there. You can't go to where horses can, take trails and stuff because there's horses. You can't go on the sidewalks. You can't go on the streets. You can't go on the bike lanes. So everything's a you can't go. That's fine. But make somewhere where they can. Allow businesses to install e-bike parks.
Listen,
counties, park systems, cities, put them in. Because just as defiant as these kids are right now, they will police themselves. And what you'll see is the difference between the kids and the people out there who are using the bikes to get into trouble.
It's a whole... ESPN makes billions off of it.
Right.
When everyone doing the
skates,
skating,
what is it? The extreme sports,
extreme
whatever.
Sport, yes.
Yeah.
They take it and
they could bring it to a whole nother level, right?
You are the same. Those
competitions.
People, the ones who are the BMX bike riders.
They have somewhere to go.
The skateboarders that you used to think were delinquents, and
Tony
you
Hawk.
call the police on to get off. You built the skate parks, and those kids got creative. They went in there and they stopped. They were no longer at the little shopping
I was
centers.
gonna say, you know what I don't see?
In the park.
I rarely see kids rolling on their skateboards through, the shopping areas, the parking lots, the whatever. And you know why? Because there's a place for them to do it, so nobody feels bad when they get tagged for doing this where they're not supposed to be. Because you know what that says to me? When I see you do that, I say, you're just someone who wants to get in trouble. You are just a trouble causer. You're not trying to do something because you love this thing. You are just trying to cause trouble. So let's yell at him.
You give them a trail. That's where they go. If the kids don't,
they want to be left alone too.
They want to be left
They're
alone.
going at night.
They go out at night. They want to go somewhere where no one's going to mess with them and they can just go ride.
Yeah.
If you do that, if you create a place for them, then guess what? That's where they're going to go.
Yeah.
And
you can make money off of that.
Yeah. Come on.
You could be a community organization who just does it because you think that it's important for them.
It would pay for itself.
It would pay for itself. You guys can regulate it. You can tax it. You can whatever, right? Whatever your community's desire priority is, but give them somewhere to do it, right? We allow bicycle races to shut down an entire fucking city for 4 or 5 hours, planned in advance. We allow running races, marathons, Ironmans, all these types of things. We allow those to shut down cities. And we go, oh, this is great. We're still trying to figure out how we can get a community to agree to allow us to do a sanctioned ride that will be supervised by adults. It will not be chaos. It will be following rules. Tell us the rules. We just want, 4 hours to be able to put this event on, and we get met with resistance and negativity and anger. But if I want to have a fucking marathon,
you have the ability,
no problem.
You have the ability to show some young people who are trying to figure out their place in our world.
Yeah.
That you see them.
Right.
So see them.
So if you want to keep saying we need to make a space for our neurodivergent people, we need to be inclusive, we need to be more, open to neurodivergence, prove it.
You have
absolutely.
You have some
prove
young
it because it's
people
right. It's words.
Want to be outside. I find it absolutely just stunning that we're even having this argument.
I know.
It's like you don't want them to be on a bike outside.
Outside? Don't pretend. Do not hide behind. No, I'm genuinely concerned for their safety.
No, you're not.
Liars.
Because you know what?
No, you're not. You don't want to see them because it triggers your anxiety.
You know what never happens? Is anyone knocking on my door saying, hey, I saw your son or daughter doing something unsafe.
That's true.
Never.
No.
Said nobody ever.
Not yet.
Now, I'll call. I see a bunch of, the police will be called. The police.
Yeah.
And I'm a retired police officer. So think about
this. This is where we want to spend our energy, right?
You see a bunch of kids playing. Let's not pretend that that's not what we're watching. You're watching a group of kids playing. Mm-hmm. And your thought is, I don't want them playing because it's dangerous. So I'm going to call the police.
Mm-hmm. When
police who are armed.
Yeah, they're armed. And you don't care, right?
You don't care.
You don't care about that.
I just want the playing to stop.
Right. Because you know what? That's just dangerous.
I want the
That's just dangerous.
They're playing. You called. You didn't go knock on the door.
You didn't call the police. Now, I'm all for it. They start damaging property.
Yeah.
They start looting someplace. They start, disturbing the peace, whatever.
Any kind of vandalism.
that's what you call the police for. But if all they're doing is riding down the street and it gives you anxiety to see them do wheelies, give them some space. How about this? How about back up? If you saw a pack of bicycle riders, we all do this. We all have to deal with this. Pack of bicycle riders. They're getting up to speed, so it's a 45-mile-an-hour road, but we're taking off from the stop, and we're all going 10 fucking miles an hour as they hurry and get themselves up to speed, right? What do? Do we get up on them? No, that's socially unacceptable. We are supposed to, and we are expected to.
Yeah.
Give them space, back up, do not run them over. But what do people do when they see e-bikers? They literally get aggressive with them. Yeah. They literally start trying to run them off the road and try to hurt them. Our son and his friend were at a roundabout down the street. They were actually on the sidewalk, not even in traffic. And the reason I know this is from another bystander out there, a witness to what happened, who said they were in the roundabout. This dude got so angry just from seeing them that he tried to run them off the road, like off the sidewalk. And then he got out of his car, stopped his car in the roundabout, got out of his car and started running after them to attack them. He's driving an expensive car. This is a man who's got money. He's driving an expensive car. in a very affluent neighborhood. For whatever reason, this pissed him off to see 2 kids on a fucking e-bike on the sidewalk. And the bystanders, the witnesses, were like, what is happening? And this guy's screaming at the kids. The dad in this witnesses had to get out of his car to go, like, stop this because he was trying to assault the kids.
Yeah.
And then be like, hey, are you okay, man? You know, like to our kids and stuff. This guy then starts screaming at the guy who's stopping him from assaulting the kids. I'm like, dude, what was your end game? Because you're an adult.
Well,
If you had assaulted my child, nobody'd care about the e-bike situation anymore. Because we're going to talk about why an adult is assaulting a child and you're going to jail
an adult
because you saw an e-bike?
an adult assaulting a child because he was upset that they were playing.
Yeah.
Because let's not get it twisted. They were playing.
They're playing.
When you call
being
911, when you call 911 on some kids who are riding a bike, I'm not talking about knocking on your door, breaking property,
Yeah.
or doing something. I'm talking about when you see a group of kids playing or doing wheelies and you go, oh, I'm going to call the police.
Right.
You're calling the police because they're playing.
Right. Do you remember riding bicycles and the big skill was learning how to ride without hands? Yeah.
I did it.
Right. Like up and down the street, right? How dangerous is that?
It's very dangerous.
Right? So, and how many times did we crash because we lost control?
Often.
I scraped up the whole side of my body because of practicing that. And so to me, the wheelies is the riding my bike without hands. You know, this is what they're trying to practice. They wear motorcycle helmets. They don't just ride with a bicycle helmet.
Yeah. I did not have
I didn't even have a helmet.
Helmet, knee pads,
Nothing.
no pads.
Nope.
We were on a bike going fast. If you crashed, you crashed. And guess what? I'm still here. I would say to you, everyone out there who's listening, if they're just playing and you're concerned about their safety, then knock on the door, talk to their parents, say, hey, I'm just concerned. I saw your son and daughter.
Are you good? Because here's the other thing.
Good?
Guess
Is
what?
there
They're
somebody
my
watching?
kid.
Yeah.
This is my kid. Okay? I don't want to attend his funeral. Okay, let me be clear. Absolutely. But I don't want to attend it at 23, 33, 53, or 13.
I want my child.
I want
to
them
have a
to,
chance.
but I also know I have a God. I have to allow God to be there with him when I'm not.
Yeah.
I have to trust that it's not my plan. And when it's his time, it's his time. And I'm never going to like when it's his time if it's before it's my time.
Yeah, right
I'm
on.
never going to like
Yeah.
that. Stopping him from living while he's here is not going to stop him from dying when it's his time.
It's not. Listen, I want to give him a chance. And I want him, the chance I'm talking about, as the chance to interact in our society as a whole.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
We're trying to get him to a place where he feels comfortable. I need your help.
Yeah.
Because what's happening now is I don't want to turn him into a delinquent. I don't want him to go that route. I want him to do it the right way.
Yeah. But we got to give them a right way.
We got to give them the right way.
them the right way.
Yes.
And we got to actually put our money where our mouth is. And when we say we want to be inclusive to neurodivergent people, then we actually have to be willing to learn what that means.
Yes.
And be open to solutions that are not typical.
Yeah. Listen, there are people who have been seriously hurt.
Mm-hmm.
There's been property that's been damaged. I'm not saying those things don't happen. What I'm saying is there's a way to regulate it without shutting it all down, because we got some kids who are thriving and we don't want them to stop thriving. We want them to continue to thrive because they're tomorrow.
Yep.
Let's not mess up tomorrow by jacking up today. No.
Yep.
We could probably talk some more, but I think we'll probably just go ahead.
We'll save that for the city council meetings.
We'll save that for the city council meeting. And we'll leave it there. But thanks for listening.
Shout out to Denver Mega Ride coming up in July.
That's right.
If you need to know more information about it, go to Suron Mega Ride on Instagram or Colorado Caddy. He runs that. You know, it's a really wholesome, really great event. If your kid is an e-biker and you're afraid or you're on the fence or you're worried, I highly recommend.
Every kid who rides in this, everyone,
because it's not just a kid thing.
It's not just a kid thing.
It is
everyone who rides in it, but especially the kids, are required to follow the rules of the road.
Yeah, they learn so much. They get a community for a few days. They get to learn about safety. Yes. Caddy is so passionate about making sure that the kids learn safety and that everybody learns, you know, like rules, and like we don't stop at gas stations because we don't want to disturb the peace, and you stay to the right. And there's certain things that they get from these mega rides that they aren't going to get anywhere else. It's a great opportunity in a safe way. If you're worried, if you're wondering, if you're on the fence, if you weren't sure, if you were thinking no, I highly suggest you try to get there if you can, or plan for one of the ones coming up.
Yeah.
That's just the next one. And, you know, learn more about it. If you're a community member who's in a community who's hating these things and you know, want a solution for it, you know, I just absolutely urge you to reach out to us, reach out to Caddy. Yeah. He's very active in his community in Colorado. We're active in our community here in Texas, trying to make sure that we get out some information and work with communities and police departments and everything on finding a bridge.
And look, I'm looking for people who want to come out and do a safety class and help teach our kids the correct way of doing things. Yeah. This is how we get it done. But just remember, giving them a space. Yeah. The Kevin Costner movie, build it and they will come.
Yeah, for sure.
Build it and they will come.
Build it, they'll come.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for listening. Please comment, like, and share. Want to reach us? Connect with us on social. Thank you.